The following program contains material that viewers may find unsuitable for younger children. A parental control system is advised. The following program contains opinions of the participants and does not reflect the views and beliefs of the Derana Media Network. The network believes in a safe space for all ideas to be expressed without any censorship and on its duty to create such a platform for free speech. Viewer discretion is strictly advised.
And welcome to TPS, the public square on Other Derana News Channel, the platform you, the general public, gets answers to your conversations and questions, and also to get the opinions from both sides of the conversation. Now today we are going to dive into the energy management process during these turbulent times and also to know what's in store ahead. Now joining me in my conversation today, representing the National People's Power, is Mr. Akalanka Senasinghe. Thank you so much, Mr. Akalanka, for joining us. And also representing the Sri Lanka Podujana Perunguna, I have Mr. Damitha Wickramasinghe. Thank you, Mr. Damitha, for joining us. So I would like to start from you, Mr. Damitha. Now, we had so much problems in terms of energy management, energy dependency and whatnot. Now, the government has implemented a set of processes to manage this situation, specifically in fuel. They brought up the QR system, they divided days for different vehicles. So I just want to get your opinion. From your perspective, how do you feel about the management process that the government has followed so far?
Well, Vinod, first of all, thank you very much for having me. Before coming on to the management, we must look into the, readiness or preparedness the government has been undertaking, which has been very poor in my, judgment. Simply because, this Middle East crisis was brewing for some time. If you can remember, President Trump started sending that so-called armada sometime back in last October. So this, tensions were brewing up. So any responsible government at that time, any government which has the foresight, should have looked into solutions like floating storages. Because at that time, oil was trading at $60 a barrel, right? Somewhere between there. Now it has shot up over 100. So at that time, if we, manage to get hold of at least, maybe 10 floating storages, we would have managed to at least have a buffer stock for 3 months. Because as you know, our terminal or the refinery has very limited capacity. And also the refinery can refine very limited amounts of crude because the refinery was donated by the state of Iran. So apart from Iranian light, there are very few crudes which are very scarce to find, can be refined in our refinery. And also before that, if you look into the gas crisis, it's a crisis that the government itself created, right? I don't want to mention brand names, but as you know, in the domestic market, you have the blue cylinder and the yellow cylinder, right? That yellow cylinder company has the largest storage facility in the country. But what did this government do? Due to the just showing off some BOI, conditions, they totally banned that company to, release LPG to the local market from their terminal. So 30,000 capacity overnight was lost. So before we look into, what sort of management they are trying to do, we have to look into, in depth, we have to look into how the crisis was created. I don't want to get into coal now. So I will, for the moment, I will rest my case, and in the future discussion, I'll take everything up.
Moving to Mr. Akalanka now, we previously had the conversation about storage facility and the government, the accusations that the government was not prepared early. Now, I think at this point, rather than stressing on that, let's talk about the present now. You all have implemented certain amount of steps to make this under control. Now, then you all you all mentioned that predicting the exact future is not actually possible, but we always have to get ready for the future. So, while these management processes are underway, for example, the QR system, for example, the divided allocated days for different vehicles, what are the other steps you all have taken in terms of storage to make sure that this problem is actually mitigated in the future?
Yeah, well, we are looking forward to increase the renewable energy in near future, and our plan is as an NPP government to convert the total amount of electricity. We want to leaning. Currently we are getting hydropower. We are expected to leaning it to the renewable electricity. For solar and wind, and we are expecting to grow it up to 70% by 2030. So we are working on that. And
is there specific steps or project implemented so far?
Yeah, we are hoping to continue with the Mana wind power projects, and also the large-scale solar parks and floating solar reservoirs. And there are main 5 projects we are hoping to execute in near future, and also we are hoping to build up charging centers, especially the electric vehicles. So we are willing to take those steps as in future. Currently, what we are doing as a government is managing this emergency situation, especially as we can see, this situation arise. This is a war situation arise in Middle East. So, as a government, as also our Health and Media Minister Nalinda Indris pointed out, we have absorbed a certain amount of amount, and that's how we have priced the fuel as well. Because as you can see, in 2022, the Brent crude oil was at that time $110 per barrel, $110 per barrel, and at that time the 92 octane was increased 470 rupees per liter. And in 2025, before the war situation arises, as my learned friend mentioned, the crude oil price was $61 per barrel. And up until the early March, we have reduced the price of the gasoline less than 300. So we have limited it up to 290 to 300 at that particular time. But just after this emergency situation, this war situation, we had to increase the amount up to 317, but then we have to increase it up to 398. So if you are comparing with the earlier situation, earlier the crude oil, the price of the crude oil barrel was $110, and at that time the amount was 470 of 92 octane. Now it's 398. The crude oil, the price of the barrel is now 107. Almost it's near into 110 mark. So still we are trying to give as much as possible the relief to the people, although we are in a difficult situation. So we are continuously controlling this. As a small country, we are trying our best to control this situation. And also earlier, as you can see in the mid of March, there was a panic situation. People try to fill up the fuel because of the current situation. So that's why we have reintroduced the QR system. And also we have allocated in particular dates in related with the vehicle numbers as well. So we are hoping to continue with that step as well. And also we are hoping to execute the hydropower renewable plants as well in future.
Ms. Rakalanka, now we understand the whole renewable energy plan, because that was something that was also proposed from the opposition, that Sri Lanka is a country which has so much capacity in the renewable energy sector, but we are not utilizing it. So keeping that aside, now that you told until in 2030 Now, if we talk about the current situation now, it was pretty clear that our current storage holes we had in the country, the capacity was an issue when the war crisis came. So now the government is constantly mentioning that we are getting shipments and the people not to panic. Now, in terms of storage, specifically in fuel storage, now renewable energy is a long-term plan.
Yeah.
In terms of fuel storage, are we to expect any more problems in future if the crisis escalates? Because we do have to for that.
Well, this is an unpredictable situation. It's very hard to proactive in a war situation. And also, as you can see, this war was started, I mean, the country which initiated this war is USA and also Israel. And it's very hard to predict what kind of step that Donald Trump will take in near future. So he's an unpredictable person. And yes,
in that unpredictable times, what are the precautions you all have taken?
Yeah, I mean, currently we are managing the fuel that we are getting, right? And also we can ensure that, I mean, if this particular situation didn't worsen, we won't worsen from this current situation. We are always getting the fuel up until the mid of April. We can assure that, because we can't predict about another 6 months, because we are not a country, as a country we are not manufacturing the crude oil. So we are importing the crude oil, especially the refined oil as well from India and Singapore, and also the crude oil from Middle East countries. So we can store a limited amount of storage. So currently we are having, unfortunately, we are having 20 tanks in Trincomalee. So I mentioned in my previous discussion also, we are hoping to increase that capacity up to, there are 99 oil tanks, so we are hoping to increase that level. And yeah, that's the current scenario we are facing. And also we got the assistance from the India, that they assure that they are continuously supply the refined oil Sri Lanka as a country. And also Russia also, recently there's a meeting with the Deputy Foreign Minister of Russia with the President and also the Minister of Energy. They have promised as a country to supply the crude oil in near future. So we are negotiating with the countries who are manufacturing the oil, and we are continuing with our future projects as well.
All right, Mr. Sakalka, thank you. Now, Damita, moving to you, you did mention what was in your perspective, what was the whole cause for this failed crisis management in your words. Now, the government is telling that one accusation you all made was they're not diversifying the context and depending on the Middle East only. Now, we do see that delegations from Russia are visiting as well. So, in terms of, let's talk, if you all see any error in the current management process, what are those specifically? And we see another set of steps that the government is currently taking, for example, the relationship with Russia. What is your take on that?
Well, Vinod, before I get into a question, I must correct my learned friend. During 2022, although the fuel prices went up to 470 a litre, at that time the dollar to rupee was around 400, right? So now the government can't say that they are giving at the same rate, because at that time you had to pay more rupees to get a barrel of oil than today, right? So the government is trying to, like, they have been serial liars all throughout this 1.5 years. And this is another blatant effort of, fooling the people. That is that. So coming on to your question, well, how do you get the Russian oil here? Does Russia have enough tankers to send here? Whatever tankers Russia has is going to China, right? Or India. And then do you think private ship owners, especially ships, majority of ships are owned by Europeans? They will not load Russian cargo. Simple fact is because of the Ukraine war. So we don't have that ship capacity in our country. We don't have oil tankers as far as I know. We can, refined products, of course, we can get. And the second thing is, yes, India can promise you, but India is facing massive shortages, right? So India will always give priority to their domestic market rather than sending fuel to Sri Lanka. On and off, they will send a ship. They will send a ship because of their foreign policy, the neighborhood first. But now part of this energy crisis, now we are about to undergo power cuts as well, right? Because majority of the diesel is going to Norochole due to the fact that this government imported substandard coal with a very low calorific value, right? So Norochole, about 100 megawatts are generated through diesel, right? So who is responsible for that? Can you blame it on President Trump or Iran or the war situation? So what we have to understand is half of the 75% of the problems that are going to come in very near future, mark my word, I'm not trying to create ghosts, but after, like my learned friend said, mid-April, it's going to be real tough to for us to import fuel, because simple fact is, now I was in Southeast Asia last week. Almost, I went to 3 countries. All 3 countries, they have gone work from home. They have gone to work from home. They have practically shut all non-essential, non-tourism related operations. Schools have gone online. So now the world is preparing like that. But I don't know why our president or the government still cannot figure out. I mean, are they living in a dreamland, right? If Australian Prime Minister comes on national television and he says, this is going to be a very tough 6 months ahead, even he is not sure whether Australia can, secure fuel, right? I think about 40% of Australian petrol pumps are closed, right? And how can we be so sure that, we will not face a similar crisis? I don't know. I think this government is daydreaming. Getting Russian oil is not, as simple as, the government is saying. And also the refinery, even if you bring the crude, the refinery has to be compatible. And our refinery, I know for a fact, because I have been in that industry, can entertain very limited amount of crudes. And in Russia, if I remember, there is only one Siberian crude that we can refine in our refinery. So it's going to be very tough.
In terms of technology?
Technology in the sense, now Iran gifted this refinery simply because of the fact, I mean, nobody gives anything for free, So it was gifted so that Iranian crude can be processed, right? So similar products to Iranian crudes are very, very scarce. So that's another big issue that this government is going to face.
So I think we unlocked some new areas to touch on. Unfortunately, we are running out of time in our first segment. So let's head into a short commercial break. You're watching TPS, the Public Square on Derana News Channel. We'll be right after the short commercial break. Stay tuned. Welcome back to TPS, the Public Square on Derana News Channel. We were delving into the current energy management process during these turbulent times. And before the break, Mr. Damitha again mentioned opposing the facts about the Russian involvement and also the current storage facility system. Now, Mr. Damitha, we understand the whole situation that you mentioned now, but if you were to mention, what should the government do now? Now, you did mention the set of problems, I would assume, that led to this situation. Now, in your opinion, what do you think the government should do now? Because Trump is telling today that he's going to stop the war tomorrow, but then tomorrow he comes back and tells that he's going to make it even harder. Now, this is clearly a time that we can't predict and we have no idea what would happen tomorrow. So, with this unpredictability in stock, what do you suggest that the government do in terms of energy management?
Unfortunately, we know the government also has very little options, right? I mean, the situation is getting bleaker by the day. like I told you, like I was mentioning in my first remarks, this global crisis, most of the people, could have predicted, right? Because President Trump himself started this madness about 4 or 5 months back, right? So now, whatever little the government can do is hope for the best, is as far as I see, because even if you open up Hormuz tomorrow, for the supply chains to get back to normalcy, it will take 3-4 months, right? So it's going to be chaos. Forget about the fuel crisis. Now, Yalla is coming up in April. From where can you get the fertilizer? Qatar is 25% of the world's for urea manufacturing, right? So they are going to be really, real bad, things are about to come. I don't know. What little the government can do is at least at a premium if they can secure, right? I mean, you can't, either you have fuel at a premium or you don't have fuel. We have come to a state like that, right? So at least at a premium, if they are able to, sort of manage a supply, get a supplier, that is one of the options they have on the table. But as far as I see, the options are very limited, and I am still wondering how this government behaves as if nothing serious is going to happen. Everybody is very confident. The Australian Prime Minister, I'm again reiterating, almost cried on national television saying that, this is unprecedented situation that is going to happen and that the Australian government is trying to do their best. Now, even to buy at a premium, right now, currently there is on, global news channels, some of the, petroleum products are live bidding is happening on the sea, right? That is the crisis level we have hit. I don't know how this government is, staying numb. So as far as I see, again, coming back to your question, options are very limited. You have to act very fast. You cannot, I don't think the government, if they try to stick to this, age-old procurement processes, we will be out of a drop of petrol and diesel.
So your opinion is that it's time to get down there and search for new allies?
Exactly. You have to have to appoint a task force, it took about 1 month into the war, right? You prepare for this before every country prepared. Thailand went online. They declared work from home 5 days into the war. I mean, those kind of things, you don't need Donald Trump to support, no? You don't need any, global or any external interference. That's why I'm questioning, are they numb? Are they not realizing the gravity of the situation? That is what we have to ask.
I think that's a good point to divert, Mr. Akalanka.
Yeah.
Now, if we take the past track records, we do have to agree that one time the government was telling everything's under control and do not panic. But then just after 3 days, there were surges in oil prices, liquid petroleum gas. So now, coming from his point where the government is not serious enough, let's take it on from that now. The government is telling every day that they are handling this situation, but if you take the past track records, there are certain areas where the government's today's word did not match the actions of tomorrow. So the people, keeping everything aside, the people only have one question. How far would this go? Because now if we check, effective from 1st of April, few days ago, the electricity price increased. And then this was already followed by the prices in fuel and a huge surge in liquid petroleum gas in domestic households. So the simple question the people have is, how far is this going to go? And is the government going to take anything to make sure that the normalcy in their day-to-day life is restored?
No, this is the issue. Now, my learned friend also, I think he can understand what I'm trying to say. Now, this is a unpredictable situation, right? We can assume that this is a third world war, right? So there were wars. There was a war between, and still it's continuing with Russia and Ukraine. Now the recent issue is, as we all know, the war between the USA, Iran and Israel. So we all know that it affects the supply chain of the crude oil. So Iran is one of the main countries that we are importing the crude oil. We didn't lie the people.
Just to interrupt,
right? We didn't lie the people.
To get the country online, you don't need Iran, you don't need Trump's,
no. The problem is,
you don't need to predict that.
Yeah, I mean, my learned
countries have been doing that.
No, before the program also, my learned friend proposed that we can do that. You can ask people
why are you delaying? You
no, we can ask the people to work from home, but still we are not in that position. Right? We as an initial step.
You want all the oil to
Yeah, I know. No, but suddenly we can't do that. No, I mean, still there's ongoing process. The country we have to continue with the
look, my
government
friend,
process.
During our government, we hit COVID, right? COVID,
to run the country.
You had no leverage. We had to overnight go online, right? Likewise, this is a crisis. This is a crisis on humanity.
Yeah, that's why as an initial step, the Wednesday we have reserved as a holiday, but some of the functions are going into government service, but mostly we have shut down that particular day. And also we have proposed a program called Surakimu Sri Lanka. So we are urging people to save the electricity. I mean, we have to advise people as well. You should save electricity as much as possible. You have to think about how to use the usage of the petroleum, the fuel, gasoline as well. So we are continuously doing that as well. And also we are, switching off the street lights. There are a lot of steps we have initiated. And we have initiated it in the end of this, a few days ago we have started that. And QR system we have continuously, we saw that people was in a panicking situation, we just implemented that. Earlier it was introduced, yes, but we reintroduced that. So, as my learned friend said, yes, we can shut down the country, but there will be another difficulty. So, there are processes we can't continuously go with the, continue with work from home mode. Yes, now we are continue with the safe mode, but we'll see about the development of the war. It's unpredictable. And we are hoping to develop the renewable energy as well, and especially the windmills, the wind and solar power. And also, as I mentioned, within 4 years, we are hoping to complete the, expand the storage of the refinery of Trincomalee refinery as well. And there are other various projects also we are hoping to implement the using the waste. We hoping to use the waste of
biodegradable
bioproducts, and we hope to generate electricity out of those projects as well, the biomass waste energy products. So we are trying to control in this situation, and we are continuing to do so.
Mr. Agalanga, taking off from there, before this fades away now, you mentioned that there is no requirement, more than a shutdown. I think what everyone suggests is that limit this to a certain level. So you told that currently we don't have a situation that we need to take those steps. But then again, the same problem arises.
Slowly and steadily doing that.
Sorry?
We are slowly and steadily, we are continuously. We can't, within a one day we can't do, we can't completely shut down.
But this is a question from a normal citizen's perspective, because in terms, before these fuel prices, electricity surges, you all mentioned that there was no requirement now. But then with the world drastically changing the next few days, you all had to go rapidly into different situations, which was very unfavorable for the citizens.
It's very hard to predict that.
Yeah, but
we can't predict wars, no?
So based on that unpredictability actually, what won't it be a good solution to take those steps in advance so that whatever the severity of it would be reduced in future?
Yeah, we are having a discussions with Russia, and also China and India continuously are helping us. And currently, at this particular moment, right? At this particular moment, we don't have issue. We can't expect a fuel shortage up until the mid of April. Beyond that, I can't make any comments. So monthly basis, we have to see whether we are, is there any issue of the fuel supply chain or not. So we have to think about that. And as my Leonard friend mentioned, if the situation worsens, then definitely we have to, go for, shut down the, some parts of the country, and especially some government institution, and also we can go for a lockdown if possible. We'll see. But currently, I have to say that still we are in control at this particular moment.
Right. On that note, I think we should go for a short commercial break. We'll return with also the current weather context also affecting the energy management in the country as well. So before that, let's head into a short commercial break. You're watching TPS, the Public Square on Other Derana News channel. We'll be back shortly. Stay tuned. Welcome back to TPS, the Public Square on Other Derana News channel. We were in conversation about the current energy crisis and also in terms of how to manage it. And I would like to move to a major area which is proving so much concern these days now. I would like to start it from the government's end now. Mr. Akalanka, if you check the current weather and if you check the updates which are coming, the heat is drying the dams, and Sri Lanka's approximately 30 to 40%, or simply 1/3 of the energy supply to the national grid is from hydropower. Now, this issue is going to come on top of everything that is prevailing now. Again, uncontrollable, the weather.
Yeah.
But as a government, what should be done is to mitigate these circumstances. So now this is going to create a new issue, simply. And in terms of agriculture activities, income of the low-income people, and also up to the higher industries, this is going to make a problem. So any mitigations already taken place on that?
Yeah, hoping to building up the other renewable energies. So other than that, our only option, other than that, the nuclear, especially the charcoal, the other energies such as charcoal and other fuel, hydropower is our only option. So we have to continue with a safe mode. Like, let's say now we are consuming 100% earlier, so we have to narrow down it up to 60%. So that's why we have initiated with Surakimu Sri Lanka. We keep on advising people to limit their electricity. Right? We are advising them. We are giving we are noticing the people as well. So we are continuously doing that. And while we are doing that, we make sure that there won't be a shortage of fuel. We are trying to. We have discussed with the India and Singapore. We are continuously getting refinery oil from these countries, and also China as well. Only issue is about the war. War is unpredictable. If it affects the Hormuz Strait, so currently also the Hormuz Strait, Iran has blocked the Hormuz Strait. So if it is worse than that, so we have to continuously discuss, building up our discussion with the Russia as well, and have to get the crude oil from Russia. And we can't, in future, in this particular situation, it's pretty hard to continue and depend on the Middle East countries, especially when we are importing the crude oil. Then we have to go for the next option, especially Russia. So we have to think about those alternative options as well. And also the long-term projects, as I mentioned, we have to increase our fuel storage refineries as well. And also think about the other projects of hydropower electricity, and also the renewable energy electricity.
Mr. Damita, coming to you now, one thing that multiple oppositions mention is that if the government is claiming that this situation is unpredictable and there's a certain level that they can control it, then the government should arrange relief packages to the normal citizens. Now, these relief packages you all are specifying lack clarity now. If you can elaborate, what exactly do you all mean by the relief packages and where should it target?
Well, first of all, Vinod, I must add to the comments my learned friend from MPP made. Showing renewable energy as a solution is like, giving a ticket to Disneyland to a patient in ICU who is almost about to die. And the other thing is now the government is asking us to conserve energy. Minister is, pumping full tank in a 8-cylinder SUV and is going from Colombo to Polonnaruwa to hand over some awards. So that kind of jokes also are happening. And coming on to your question, I mean, there are certain relief that you will have to, once, if you go for a lockdown especially, right, you will have to look after the people who are on daily wages, right? If there is no fuel, we have 1 million trishow drivers in this country who depend, their livelihood is on directly tied to the availability of fuel. So that is 1 million families there out of the 5 million families of this country, right? So that kind of relief based on the need, of course, they will have to distribute. And I must correct also on the power crisis. The power crisis, simply the power tariff increment happened because of the substandard code. And unfortunately, due to the harsh weather, the reservoirs are also going down. And this particular power crisis has now exaggerated into a water crisis, as it was shown in your news as well, right? So there'll be water cuts coming, there'll be power cuts coming. I don't know. In terms of preparedness, this is one of the worst governments. I can give you a good example how we were expecting a power crisis when we were last in government in 2021. We forecasted that there is going to be a shortage of generation. So under President Gotabaya Rajapaksa, we brought in the proposal to bring in a floating LNG power plant, which was absolutely, it was striked off by the conspirators within the government and also the NPP-backed unions. So I at least now propose the NPP, if you can find a similar solution for the power crisis, look into a floating LNG power plant, because now since the delay, I mean the coal is substandard and also there was a delay in shipments as well. Now once you hit April, because of the high tide, coal shipments cannot be unloaded in Norachole. So that's another crisis that is brewing because of the inefficiency of this government. So there's so many of wrongs that need to be corrected. And I don't know. We can only pray for the pray and hope for the best. As the opposition, we don't want to take the government down through a crisis like it was it happened in 2022. So we are not engineering politics with external forces. But as we can see, definitely, we will have to head for an election by 2027. I don't think they have, this government has any answers to the problems that are going to come up.
Now, coming to you, Mr. Akalanka, yes, people are suffering from certain amount of areas, but I think as a government, you have definitely thought about the whole relief package as well.
Yeah, I mean, like earlier, we were hit by Ditwa cyclone as well. So we got a surplus of 1 trillion rupees as a collection. And also we have spent that through our budget, and we have allocated it, that particular amount, to release the relief to the people from 25,000 and also up to, I mean, we have already given houses to a certain extent to those who affected. In this situation also, as my learned friend mentioned, if we had to close down the country, if you have to go for a total lockdown, then yes, you are correct. We have to we have to protect the people who are getting a day-to-day income.
Also, we know there is a very
And for that we have to...
We need to raise from the government. Now, due to this war situation, Middle East brings us our largest amount of remittances, right? And as far as our knowledge, majority of the people, the expats working there are out of work, especially in the labor category, apart from domestic workers. And also, if the other Red Sea Strait gets also blocked, it will affect our exports. Even if it remains open, Europe and US are major buyers of our exports, are heading towards a recession. So by the end of the year, there will be definitely an exchange crisis as well. So what are the government's, the steps that they are going to take?
Now the thing is that now my learned friend is keep on saying that this will happen, that will happen. You have to face these kind of negative impacts. But the thing is,
whatever we say,
there's
happen.
no. I mean, as a opposition, they don't have. They also don't have any solutions. But I am not. I mean, we are not trying to getting out from this responsibility.
I myself gave you one
continuously
bring a floating LNG power plant for the power crisis.
Yeah, but
that's one solution.
We can't do it within 1-2 days. No, it will take some time. And also,
at least have you
closing down. I mean,
I don't think so.
I mean, lock down a country. It's a serious thing. It's very hard to do that because there are people.
Funds that or the packages that our citizens can expect.
If we have a surplus, still we have a certain amount of reserves in our treasury, and we have to use that. And also, as a government, we always willing to protect the people, and even when we are increasing the fuel prices. We didn't go beyond the 400 mark. We try to increase. We have increased it only 8 rupees. I am not saying that. I mean, it's not a good scenario. We were forced to do that because of the war. But still, we are managing. We have tried to manage that in that level. So the problem is really unpredictable. The war situation. Currently, we don't have a large scale of refineries and also storage facilities to store the fuels and other oil products. So currently what we are doing is to managing the situation. So, and also continuously we are discussing with the Russia and also Singapore and India. Continuously we are getting the fuel. So we have to see the development of the war. And if we were compelled to lock down the country, we have to go for it. Right. Until that, we won't. We are trying our best to not to disappoint the people and to continue. To run the country as it is. But if we were compelled to do that, we have to do that.
Right, so unfortunately we have come to the end of our episode today. So I would like to thank both our gentlemen representing the National People's Power, Mr. Akalanga Senasinghe, thank you very much for joining us. And also representing the Sri Lanka Pojana Peramuna, Mr. Damitha Wickrasinghe, thank you very much for your time.
Thanks for having me.
And thank you for watching TPS, the public square on Other Derana News Channel. We'll return again with another episode addressing major concerns on the current affairs next week. With that, have a very good night.